morning. Today we are going to discuss graffiti art. So I like to just give a little bit disclaimer about graffiti at the beginning. So first of all, graffiti is illegal when it's done in a place that you do not have permission to create that artwork. Graffiti is not illegal if you create it in a space that is designated for graffiti. So if you graffiti on the side of a train or a bridge, that's illegal. You can get in big trouble for that. But if you're doing graffiti on the graffiti wall downtown, you're allowed to do graffiti on that wall. You can do graffiti on canvases, shoes, shirts, any sort of display, wood panel, metal. The issue is that I think if you are a great artist and you're spending your money and time to create graffiti, I think you should sell it. Okay, so we're going to talk about an artist. His name is Banksy. So here's Banksy's a little bit biography. He's a British street artist and activist. He's maintained an anonymous identity, but we know he lives somewhere in the United Kingdom. He often targets social and political agendas with witty illustrations or pictures, so funny. He creates stencils and spray paint. His art is actually found in a bunch of cities like Paris, New Orleans, and New York. This is one on the right side. It's called Lovesick. You can see it's basically a person looking like they're throwing up, but it has a bunch of hearts. This one is called Love in the Bin of 2018. And there was this really funny incident at one of his, I guess it's like a museum. Let me move this. So I'm going to show you what that looks like.
Starting for 360,000.
So basically what happened is he created this artwork that's almost like a prank or a stunt. So it was at an auction and it was supposed to be selling for a bunch of money. And it had some sort of like motor in it where it's almost like it printed out, but it shredded it like a paper shredder. And that was the prank right there. It didn't work as planned in the auction. It had issues, just like technology almost always has issues. But I thought this was interesting and unique. All right, so let me see if I can expand this view a little bit. So this is called Portobello Road in West London. So you can see he spray painted an artist with basically graffiti, but it looks like a professional artist. And this is literally just in some sort of road in London. There's usually no special thing about the places that he paints them. They just usually have some sort of social or political statement about that place. Here it says no loitering, and it has I believe, a vet with a American flag. It's in New Orleans, Louisiana, and it was done on 8/28/2018. Here you can see this is in the Bronx, New York. It was done on October 21st, 2013. So there was a couch already here. And then there was this was already there. It says, unfortunately, ghetto for life. And it has a little kid spray painting it on there. And then I assume this is some sort of butler. So you can take what you want out of that in terms of a social statement about America. This is not my opinion. This is the opinion of Banksy. This right here is an airbrush machine. So what you need to know is you can create graffiti art with actual spray paint, or you could use an airbrush machine. I'm going to show you some realistic drawing, or it's paintings done with an airbrush machine. You can see this is an air compressor. Most people, not most people, but a lot of people have air compressors in their garage because they fill car tires, and they're used in like pneumatic nail guns and things like that. And then this is what an airbrush tip looks like. There's a place where you can put paint, and then the actual tube of paint, and then the paint or ink comes out here. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that. Okay, so I have that whole video, and I will post this if you want to watch that whole video. It's pretty cool. It takes a lot of time to do airbrush, and you do it with stencils and layers. But there's a lot of pros and cons to using airbrush versus spray paint, so I just want to real quickly talk about that. So spray paint's on this side, airbrush is on this side. The downfall to having spray paint is you have to be 18 to buy the spray paint. So you can't just go into Home Depot as a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old and buy it. You got to have your parents buy it. The other thing is odors can be harmful, and you need to wear a respirator mask. So it's not even that you would want to be outside and do this. Even if you're outside, you would need to wear a respirator if you were going to actually make an art project that required a lot of spray paint. It has to be done outdoors. So if it rains, if it's cold, you can't do it when it's cold, if it's too hot. So that's a downfall. The positive is the paint is pretty cheap. So you don't need an air compressor. You don't need anything. It's just a bottle of spray paint, and that's it. It stains your index, or no, I'm sorry, it doesn't, well, it could stain, but it strains your index finger muscle. So that's your pointer finger. So when you have to press down on that can constantly, you don't think about stuff like that. But if you were doing a lot of graffiti art, eventually your finger would start to hurt. So airbrush though, airbrush has no age restrictions. You can buy it at any age. You could buy it as a 5-year-old if you wanted to. There's no harmful odors or a need for a mask. So I know you guys are about tired of wearing masks. You don't need to wear a mask if you're doing airbrush. It can be done indoors or outdoors. So most likely you're going to want to do it outdoors just for the mess factor, but technically you could do it like in your garage or even your basement. I would put down some plastic tarps if you're going to do that. It does require an air compressor, so plus the paint and attachments. So financially, it is going to cost quite a bit more than just buying spray paint, but your air compressor, you could use it for multiple things in your life and in your house. So it doesn't have to be just for art. It is easy on your finger or joints or muscles. You're not going to get as fatigued. You can actually create art for longer doing it this method. So if I was going to make a suggestion for you at this point in your life, I would say try airbrush. You can get kits, I believe, for around $100 on Amazon. I've done airbrush before, but I don't have my own kit at my house. Okay. If you have additional questions or you're looking for resources, here's the resources that I use. And that is graffiti art.